Welcome to Break a Wish, the podcast where all your dreams come true, but with terrible, ironic consequences. I'm your host, Maddox Campbell. On each show, we take a magic wish and try to come up with the perfect ironic cost. The idea is that knowing the wish's cost, it'd still be a tough idea whether you take that wish or not. Last week we had, you are the best player in your slow pitch beer league, but you always have to play at the top of your ability, no matter what. We had 62% reject this wish on Twitter, and everyone in the Facebook discussion group rejected it. I think we just don't want to be good at a social game that bad. Oh, and if you're curious how Kyle and Carmine's team did this year in the Comedy Softball League, they came in last, but had a great time doing it. For this week, we're giving up on the whole dang Earth. Nick Shopian wished for a spaceship to leave this planet. I sit down with Ben Clifford and Joanna Haughton to plan our trip to the stars. Joining me today, we have Joanna Haughton.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And Ben Clifford.
Hello, everybody.
And the wish is, I wish I had a spaceship so I could leave this planet. So you get a spaceship is what the wish is asking for. Let's see if we can come up with an ironic cost for that. I'm going to go to you first, Ben.
This is a wish I think about often when I'm having a shower. And
You and your showers, man.
it's a lot of shower thoughts.
Yeah.
That's a tough one because, you always think tiny little one-man spaceship, blast around. You only have enough fuel to not even get to not to get to the moon. Like
Not even the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's...
You burst into space, but then instantly you're like, oh, tank's running a bit low. Better go back down. Better go back down to Earth there. Fuel up. And to make it so it's not just a personal transport device around the entire planet, because that's also pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe the initial propulsion immediately puts you in space. So that you have to go up, and then you're like, oh, I'm in space now.
Yeah, it doesn't move laterally until you're in space.
Right.
And then it basically makes you go right back down? Or can you at least end up somewhere else?
No, you can float. You could just you could theoretically blast yourself into space, wait for the rotation of the Earth, and then land somewhere else.
Okay.
If you're that good at...
It seems like you've basically given someone
yeah.
not a spaceship so much as a space station that they just have a way to get to. Kind of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. They get to leave the planet, but the downside is maybe they can get to the moon. But really, once you can get to the moon once, are you going to go again? There's nothing up there.
I mean, it's a big moon.
Depends which conspiracy theorist you ask about the nothing up there.
Can we go to the far side of the moon?
I think maybe I've played too much Kerbal Space Program. If you can get to the moon, you can get to other places using the gravitational pull of things. I think that's how that works. You always fire yourself off closest to when two of those interlocking pulls are together, and then you use
there's
it like
a gravity slingshot type
Yeah.
thing, yeah. But I'm saying you seems like your craft is specifically designed to go a certain distance and then come back.
I think that's that seems like a twist that would be enough to make it a wish you might give up, but at the same time be like, yeah, I got it. I mean, the other option is that it just makes funny noises. That would be so you just be like brum, 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 and no other spaceman would take you seriously.
Yeah, it just makes all the sounds that like an 8-year-old would make while making their spaceships.
Which I think I'd still take that wish. So I'm trying to balance it out with what would be.
Yeah, I don't think silly sounds would stop me. If it was just a place I can go as my quiet place and it happens to just be like with it between Earth and the moon, I think I might give up on it because I'm like, that seems like a lot of travel for just to get alone time. I mean, I can go to the library and people generally leave me alone if I just needed alone time.
You can make funny noises in the library as much as you want.
Yeah.
I assume that, when you want a spaceship, you want it to... for more travel than just to the moon. Like you want to travel.
Yeah, it's less about it's part about leaving Earth, but it's also part about exploring something else.
Yeah.
And going to something new. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joe, what would be your ironic cost then?
My ironic cost would be that you can't take anybody with you.
Oh, solo trip.
It's only a spaceship that holds one that can support one.
A single person, yeah.
Well, because then the cost is, if you want to go anywhere, that's a significant amount of time that you're away from family, you're away from friends, loved ones, everything, everybody. And if you go much further, then if the spaceship can go really fast, closer to the light speed, then you would be gone for a year, but everybody else would have been gone decades. So I think basing solo, like life alone.
I think if we're going to do yours, I think we do have to figure out that speed a little bit, at least, whether it is faster than light or sublight, because that's a huge difference.
Just you can't go faster than light. You can't go faster than light.
Well, you can't without breaking relativistic rules.
Faster than light in Star Trek and in Fantasyland, but you can't actually go faster than light right now.
Depends on the powerful.
Well, again,
powerful
we're
genie,
using a powerful genie
so
wish.
Magic.
We're using magic.
Okay.
In a world where wishes exist.
In a world where wishes... Hey.
You can snap your fingers and get a spaceship, but you can't have that spaceship break the laws of physics. But,
okay, fine. So if it goes faster than light, then and if you're by yourself, then that's even a worse cost.
Yeah. Well, but if it goes faster than light, then we're talking about, we don't have to worry about relativity, because then it's like warp, right? Like we get Star Trek style warp.
Right.
We don't have to worry about relativity. If it doesn't go faster than light, then the closest next solar system is at least like 4 to 8 years, I think.
Yeah.
So you spend most of your time between stars, or you just get to look around the solar system.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so we didn't talk about what the speed factor of the spaceship was.
Yeah, I think that's important to it, and I think Ben's kind of is like, because his range is so limited, it doesn't matter that much. It's like, it's going to get you up to the moon and back.
I guess for me, from my perspective, the speed doesn't matter too much. So I guess, sure, we can make it that it goes faster than light. But to me, it's the solo cost, because if you leave the planet, I mean, our planet's going to shit anyway. So I'm thinking like in 10 years, you're going to want to escape the hellhole that this planet has become. But then you have to go by yourself. No family, no friends, no spouse, no children, no nothing. Like you're bye-bye. I'm taking off. Okay, so I'm going to investigate another caveat here. So we said only one person could come on it. But we've established that there might be magic here, or there might be, other things. So, I think you're trying to weasel out of the caveat. I'm clarifying a caveat here. Because, we can go. We have to be on our own. Can we bring like some books and DVDs? A hard drive with some nice movies on it? I think so. Okay.
I have a question.
I'm just a solo person, so like that doesn't bother me as much that there's no people, as long as I have some books. Like... Okay, we're very different people.
But if the caveat is you have to go alone, does any of the technology, like being able to communicate? Like, can I bring out some sort of Wi-Fi and then send messages back to Earth? Can I Skype up in the sky? You know what? I would say because having been separated from my family for long periods of time, when you're Skyping, it's actually worse, because it kills you. You're like, oh God. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. It kills you for a longer period. Like it's good because you're like, oh, I want to talk to them. I want to see them. But then at the same time, you're like, I can't be there. So I think I would say, torture yourself. Go for it. Okay.
I'm going to say, like, even if it's supernaturally good for the distance you're at, it's still not great Skype. Like, it's still like that frustratingly bad Skype.
Dial-up internet.
It's like dial-up. Just, a couple times. Like, enough you can still have the conversation, but enough that it's frustrating the whole time. So if there's Skype, it's bad Skype. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
I mean, that makes it a little bit easier. I mean, not the best, but you could definitely kind of communicate.
Also, if there's a lot of natural disasters, the news coming in would make you just feel like an awful person.
Yeah. Right, yeah. I could do something, but I'm not. I'm out here in space.
I'm ages away. My tiny little pod.
Yeah, my little pod.
Okay, so that's mine. What about you, Matt?
All right, I'll go back to mine. I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to get a nicer ship than you guys. I'm going to get one that has faster than light, can hold up to 10 people, but it can never return to Earth and has no way to communicate with Earth.
Oh, I would have a problem with that. I'd take 10 people I love and I'd be gone. Screw it. Done. Like, I'm not even a consideration. Done.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thought that was going to be harder, because, I mean, there was like no chance that... I felt like your exploration, you can go back and report on things. You can be like, oh, I found this cool thing and we've made some scientific discoveries. And if you're going and you can't ever come back or communicate with Earth, then you're making those discoveries. The discoveries are selfish. Like, they're just for you. Like, I discovered this. Right. But it's not helping humanity at all.
From my perspective, in my wish, you're selfish, because I'm seeing like the world going to heck, and you're abandoning everybody and just this is my lifeline. I'm being selfish and I'm rescuing myself
Okay.
and getting off the planet. So I guess it just depends your perspective, because for me, I'd be like, I've got 10 people. We're going exploring. We're going to have a blast until we die, and that'll be awesome.
Well, maybe we can caveat this then. So what do you think would be a small enough number of people that it would end up being frustrating? Like you can't ever come back. Mm-hmm. I feel like it shouldn't be one person, because then, you will run out of DVDs and books.
Right. And then there's only so many volleyballs in which you can draw a face.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And I'm not that good at volleyball, so that'll frustrate me that I don't know the one thing that Wilson is good at.
Right.
He's a volleyball. He only talks about volleyball.
You won't be able to have any good conversations.
No good conversations.
Right.
Yeah. What would be the prime number of people that it's worth taking, but it would be frustrating to be stuck with? Would it just be one other person?
An odd number is interesting.
5.
An odd number?
Yeah, because then it's like, presumably if you're going forever, and we're also humans, so we're a little bit hardwired to be like, well, let's continue our little space journey with our space family. It has to be a small enough number that generations go by that they're just this inbred spaceship mess.
Oh, that's disturbing.
Well, that's why you don't want to bring 10 people.
See,
you need more than 10 to
well,
really...
actually, with 10 people, it'd still be a little inbred.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You need a lot more people.
No, that's what but I'm not thinking a generational ship. I'm not thinking like continue the species. I'm just thinking 10 people because it's awesome. You all have a good time and then you die.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking of some sort of caveat to make fertility not an issue, because the generation system definitely goes wrong in some way.
A really depressing, like the first contact with humans with another species is like,
hey,
10th generation.
Yeah.
If they even make it.
My ears cover my eyes.
They're landing like... Brum, dum, 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 dum.
I would definitely say fertility has to not be an issue, because I also think like if there's 5 people, let's say, or 4 people, 2 couples, whatever, they have kids, then there's like 2 kids. That's really sad for them to grow up as the only 2 kids in the universe as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, they have to like each other. Like, it's their only
So
option.
I think fertility has to like not be an issue at that point.
Yeah, the issue. Your choices are the only other person your age, your mom or your mom's friend.
Yeah, which is creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does. I don't think anyone's going to take that wish if the idea is. But then you're just going into space to die.
Well, see,
but you're going to die anyway. So.
Yeah, the issue. Sure. Yeah, you're going to die eventually. That becomes torment, not so much for the person who takes the wish, but for the next generation.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like we shouldn't make them suffer. Like, it's the wish takers who should suffer directly.
You're going far enough, because if it does travel faster than light and it's this super warp speed ship, you could just hit every potential planet that has life. You could hit every single one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it still takes
like
time.
Your Kepler 22s or whatever that one's called, or
the
other Earths. And then when you get there...
So your assumption...
is that you can crossbreed with another species.
I'm going like...
I'm not even going that far. You're assuming that aliens are sexy.
I mean... that has to be the assumption.
Yeah.
When you're the only man in space,
they'll become sexy. It doesn't matter where the orifices are, how big they are. I'll find a way.
After enough time.
It doesn't even have to be bipedal.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Here's a new problem. Now you're assuming that you're sexy to aliens.
That's true, yeah. Well, when you're the only non-bipedal plant creature on Kepler 22.
I don't think...
The first fleshy man that comes your way. The first pale, disgusting, doughy nerd that makes it.
You have not had a lot of sunlight in the ship, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But we would be assuming that it's the D&D/Star Trek rules of humans can cross with everything, but anything else can't cross, which is a weird way to think that our DNA works.
This is a tangent, but that's one thing that always struck me in sci-fi movies and Star Trek, that everybody can crossbreed from another planet, whereas if you try and breed a donkey and a horse, you get a mule that's sterile. It's just, but everybody from different planets and solar systems can have babies.
And sometimes they try to hand wave around that. Like, I know Star Trek did a thing where, like, they're all genes were seeded by this one race, so they were all sort of related.
But we still have more in common with
yeah.
donkeys than we do with,
Yeah. It's not a good hand waving. It's just they were trying to get around their lazy costume design.
To get back to your original, because I think we were trying to narrow down from 10 to 1, because that was your 2 conditions. 10 people, just the one person.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to take you're going to take the 10 people. So,
I would take the 10 people and go.
Like, if we're going to narrow it down, like 7 still on board.
Yeah.
5 still on board.
Yeah.
2 still on board? Is that why your condition was just one person? It's just
I think your odd number person is a good idea, though. I think 3 might be the best number of, it's enough that you're not going crazy from loneliness, but it means that every time you're spending time with just one other person, someone else is being left out. It has that perfect dynamic of like,
were just going to go
like
over
you
to
best.
this part of the ship.
Yeah.
Are you hanging out in the East Wing? Because we're going to...
Yeah, 3 would be awkward.
It's just enough people to always have you think, like, all your insecurities about not being popular or not being someone's favorite come out.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
3. Although I do know of one person or 3 people who are in a triad marriage, so for them that would be perfect.
I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible to work out. I'm just saying if there's a number of people that would make it most awkward, where there's a hint that someone will always feel the insecurities of favorite.
I would say 3 or 5 because there's always that one person out.
Yeah.
An odd person out.
3 is interesting, and it gives me this... I find a very funny image of 3 people floating in space in their faster than light ship without microphones having the exact same discussion about wishes sitting around a table. It's just like, so if you could go back to Earth, but you could only bring 5 people.
Yeah. Well, one of us, yeah.
You could only bring one of us.
Because we've proven today that 3 people is an entertaining enough group of people that you'd have fun. So it's still enough of a caveat to be like, yeah, you could definitely do that.
But being stuck with the 2 of us for the next 30 decades.
Yeah.
Or 3 decades.
Someone will decide that they are the captain and they're in charge and everyone else will resent them and there'll be at least one mutiny before everyone dies.
The chore board is just a bore board. It's like, oh, come on. I swept the engine room last week.
Yeah. I think 3 is the perfect number of that. All right. So can we just do a quick reiteration? Yours was limited distance, pretty much only.
Pretty much just this. I mean, this solar system's too interesting, so that's why I left it to
just
Earth
the moon.
and the moon.
Yeah, just the moon.
Yeah.
And you had
just me, like just one person.
One person can
just
come.
you that goes in that spaceship, so you have to leave everybody behind.
All right. And mine was you could take 2 people with you, but you can't ever go back or communicate with Earth. Do we have one that we think we're leaning towards as our final here that's the best?
I don't know. I think the conversation we've been having so far is the 2 people.
The 2 other people? Yeah, I think I'm leaning that way too. All right. So that's what we'll say is the one is you can take 2 people with you. You can never return to Earth and never communicate with Earth. So going with that, would you take this wish?
Oh, would I take this wish?
Do we need to go to Ben first and come back to you?
Go to Ben.
I don't think I'd take it today. But I think if you came back to me in 50 years' time and it's like old Ben and he's like, I'm going to go explore in the very last years of my life.
But that's not fair. You can't, you don't get to choose when you take
this wish is happening today.
Right now.
It's now or never. Yeah.
And I need to find 2 people. I don't think I'd take it. I think 2 people is too small. As much as I would love to be an explorer in space. That would be great and it would be loads of fun. But you don't. When you're watching these sci-fi shows, you don't see the downtime. There's a lot of downtime.
Yeah. They always edit that out for sure.
Yeah, so I think I would stay on Earth.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go to Joe then.
Well, see, for me, it's like, oh God, you're killing me because.
And we know exactly what 2 people you'd probably take.
No, I know, but that's the thing. Like, I couldn't do that.
No?
Well, so first of all,
clarify, for the audience.
Clarify for our listeners. First of all, my traveling in space is like the one thing that I've ever wanted in my entire life. But I don't mean like traveling in space the way we travel in space now. I mean like full on, like Firefly or Star Trek or Star Wars. Like you got spaceships and you can go.
Yeah.
It's basically the ultimate for me. And then the 2 people that I would obviously take are my husband and my little girl. But I feel like that would be so selfish because then she grows up alone on this spaceship and then her parents die and then she's alone literally on this spaceship. I couldn't do that.
And you don't know if she's as into space as you are. It's too early to know for sure. Like,
I mean, considering how much I'm indoctrinating her into Star Trek and how much she loves it, I'm guessing she's going to love it, but I still couldn't do that to her.
And it's early signs though. When she hits a teen, she might, rebel against her parents.
I know.
Turn into like.
And then that's the other thing. When we're on the spaceship and she turns a teenager and rebels against her parents, where the hell is she going to go? Like, where the fuck is she going to go?
No.
Nowhere.
Doors don't even slam on a spaceship.
No.
I know, they close.
They swoosh. It's not, you cannot storm out of a room on a spaceship. It's
and like
not
trying
satisfying.
to sneak out of your bedroom at night, that's going to be a problem.
She's just outside in one of those spacesuits, just like fuming in space, tethered by like an oxygen tank.
Yeah. So if I had to do it now,
Joe.
I wouldn't take it because I couldn't do that to my daughter. However, if we had the caveat where I could take it in like 25 years where she's grown up, I'd take I'd take Andrew and like maybe one of my best friends, say goodbye to my daughter.
Who you just pointed at, Ben, who you've just met today.
No.
Sorry,
Yes.
everyone
In
I know.
25 years, he'll be your best friend.
In 25 years, you might be my best friend.
Can I apologize to everyone I know now? In 25 years, I've got to go. It's been decided.
I'm just pointing. Oh gosh, goodness gracious. But yeah, I'd probably take Andrew and like one of my best friends and go.
Okay, but we're saying, again, take the deal today.
So now, taking now with the caveats, no.
Too complicated. Okay. You know what, guys? I wish I had done more with my life, and because of that, I'm gonna go to the stars. I'm gonna take the deal. I think the hardest part will be me sitting here going like, what other two people
do you want to spend the rest of your life with?
The rest of my life with, yeah. Who are two other people that I can both like put up with and would enjoy and would also enjoy it and would be like torture to bring them, like who would want to go?
Right.
Because that would be the worst thing is I'm like, I'm going to take you, and then one of them is like, oh.
I don't want to go.
I don't want to go, but you wished me here and I'm stuck.
Two strangers might be interesting. If you just took, like we were going to go, okay.
No,
have you met the general, I don't know. I do a lot of customer service.
I'm not saying just random strangers. Strangers you vet.
But how do you vet strangers?
Like a Willy Wonka golden ticket situation?
No, you can't. No,
That's not going to work.
But I'm thinking like you could
somebody's going to be a serial killer.
Think about it like the five
serial killer is pretty safe. They don't have a lot of options.
Yeah, there's two other people.
You can see it coming.
I mean, I think you need to hit three to get serial, right?
Yeah, they can't become a serial killer. They would have to have killed before they left to become a serial killer. Okay.
You're just the next in the chain.
Next in the chain.
Jason, did you put blood in the butter? Come on. Also, where's Tracy?
But he's going to spend it out because he knows he's got a limited pool. So he's going to take his time with it. You got a good couple of years on that.
But Maddox, I'm thinking treat it like the five people at a dinner party situation. Because you can wish anyone. You're like, I'll take me and I'll take... who would be the most interesting people in space to live with?
Oh, okay. You're thinking like anyone in the world.
Yeah, and if they don't speak English, maybe the awkward silences aren't as awkward because you're there being like,
I'm not a strong language learner, but given time and nowhere to run, I could learn another language.
A lot of Pictionary.
On the start. Yeah.
Oh, I think you guys are way complicating this.
I'm saying I think I could probably find someone to bring. I think I do want to go to space. I just need some company. As long as they're not the worst person, I think I could probably make it work. Yeah. So I think I would take the deal.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I think if I didn't have a child, I'd take the deal.
All right. So I think we did a good split on that one. Yeah. We had a maybe, a no, and a yeah. So we're in a good spot. But what about you, audience? Would you take this deal? And if you have any other wishes you'd like to send us, please do so. Well, that's what we came up with, but we want to hear from you. Your wishes, your thoughts, whether you take this wish or not. You can find us on Twitter at breakawishpod, email breakawishpod@gmail.com, join the Break-A-Wish discussion group on Facebook, and you can support the show by writing a review, telling a friend, or donating on our website. To find more information, go to breakawish.ca. Want more Ben Clifford? Try Benjour on Twitter, or Benjour mes amis on Instagram. For more Joanna Haughton, try the modamamablog.com and at Joanna Haughton on Instagram. This is a Kicks and Giggles entertainment production hosted by Maddox Campbell, themed by Matthew Reed, cover art by Justin Langford, and a proud member of the Sonar Podcast Network. For more podcasts, go to thesonarnetwork.com. Before I go, some wishes don't take a whole episode. I call these summary judgments. At WRLDJess on Twitter said, I wish someone would get excited to see me. Well, dogs are always excited to see everyone. So, for your wish, all your friends will always get excited to see you whenever you enter the room, but they'll also try to lick your face. So, what would you wish for?
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar!
So, you just got done listening to the new episode of this podcast, and now you're looking for another one to get into. I know what you're thinking, but Cody, the new podcast I want to get into is an improvised comedy with a horror theme. Well, guess what, little podcast fiend? You're barking up the right alley, because I'm one of the hosts of Spooked, the improvised scary story podcast where it's never scary and sometimes a story. Now you're thinking, wow, that sounds awesome, but where do I find that? Well, the same place you found this one, thesonarnetwork.com. You click on it, you listen, and get ready to get spooked.
Escapecapade is an improvised Escape the Room podcast. I take 2 guests, trap them in a room, describe it to them in great detail, load it with puzzles, and then over the next 45 minutes, they can do whatever they want. You want to listen to 2 people fixate on a poster for 45 minutes? That's happened. Escapecapade episodes are released every other Tuesday and are available on thesonarnetwork.com. Just click on Escapecapade.